Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I just thought I'd make a quick video of the Boeing 737 default inside the cockpit. So as you might have seen already, I have made another video today, but I kind of want to move on from the Boeing 737, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick look around the cockpit and the buttons and the switches and the camera views you can all change and differentiate between. So obviously, as you can see on this view, you can't really see that much. So if you want to zoom out, press the minus button on your keyboard. So you can obviously go to there, 40, 30, and that's about as far as you can go. So I usually fly it on about here, as it's more realistic, because this is what the flight will be like when you're flying. But obviously if you want to see more instruments, then you just go all the way back to 30. And then obviously to reset it, you can either press Shift, Control, Spacebar, or zoom back in with the plus arrow. So if I wanted to zoom out to 40 and I wanted to look at the buttons over here, I would then click Control, Spacebar, and it will reset it to my position. And obviously if I want to zoom in and out, then I just press the minus and plus buttons on the keyboard. So that's the cockpit views. So if we just hop outside quickly. So as you can see as well here, we're really zoomed in, can't really see a lot, and we want to get a better picture. So what you can do is right click and go to locked spot. I already have mine on, but you want to click it to lock spot, and it will come up in this corner. And then same again, click the minus button and zoom it out. So as you can see, it's kind of made the plane look longer, a little bit weird, just not a normal camera. So to fix this, you want to do Control Spacebar again, and this will reset it to exactly behind. And the same again, plus and minus keys to zoom in and out, and you can set it to however zoomed in or out you want it to be. So that's the cameras. And here on the wing, same again, plus and minus, zoom it in and out. And if you want, obviously you want to move it, say you move it over here, and I want to go back to the normal view, Control Spacebar will bring it back to how it was. So now we've done the views, let's just have a little chat about what's in the cockpit. So as you can see, we have the primary flight display, which basically gives us our turn, our rate of climb, our speed, and our altitude. So on some airports, it will have a number that isn't 0. This basically means about there I'm 630 meters above sea level. So obviously if you're in line with sea level, that would be 0. If you're 700 above, that will say 700. And you then have your heading in the bottom middle, but there's a better picture of this on the next thing. So obviously this basically has the same as what's there, just on a bigger screen. And these purple zeros will be for your speed, as you can see there, and your altitude, as you can see there. But we're not going to be flying today, I'm just giving you guys a quick talk around the cockpit. And another thing about the Boeing is every Boeing aircraft will have one of these, a normal yoke, which goes in between the captain and first officer's legs, whereas when I do Airbus videos, you'll see it will have a small side stick in this area here, and this is also used to control the plane. So that's just a thing to notify about both aircraft. And then if we go out to the overhead panel, you can see we have landing lights, and these lights don't seem to work in this default 737. In other add-on planes they might do, which I'll show you in later videos at some point, but at the minute in this plane they don't really work. And next to that you've got taxi lights, your APU switch, which is basically used in case of an emergency and also to power the plane. So if you're ever getting ready for flight, that will need to be on. And just on a quick note, I will be doing a cold and startup in this plane at some point, but just for this video, this is how it will spawn when you get into it first. So I just thought I'd do a video on how it'll be when you first get into it, especially if you're new to flight sim. And then here you've got your engine starter switch, which is obviously on because my plane's ready to go. And here you have your other starter switch for engine 2. So engine 1, engine 2, and the switch to keep them both on. Next to that you have your logo lights, which basically just show you well, as it's daytime now you can't really see it, but there will basically be a light on each end of the wing that will show you where your wings are when you're flying along, especially if you're on outside view. And you've got your strobe light switch, which I think is underneath the aircraft, as you can see there. And you then have these two buttons, which also don't work in this aircraft because I think they're defaultly on. All these other buttons, or most of them, you can't really switch. Obviously you can do fuel pumps, but I just want to leave them as they are, and the plane will spawn like this automatically every time you go into flight sim, unless you change it to cold and dark, which I'll do a video on at a later date. And then just up here you've got the seatbelt sign and no smoking sign, and then a couple more buttons up here, but you don't really need to touch those if you just want to get flying. All you need to do is those lights and basically just some more features I'm going to tell you now. So obviously down here in the center console you have your flaps, which obviously you drag to get them to work and then pull back to do it. Or if you want to do it on the keyboard, it's F7 to put them down and F6 to put them up, as you can see there. You then have your speed brake, which you can manually pull back or do just with forward slash, which as you can see there are now on and then off. And as you'll see here, you'll have 2 1s and 2 2s. Basically the bigger handles are the actual engines, which will power the aircraft to go forward. And these other 1s and 2s are the reverse spoilers that will be activated when you press Shift 2 on the keyboard or pull them back, which will be used to slow you down when landing. So there, and as you'll see, we will soon start to reverse. But in most aircraft you can't really reverse with reverse thrusters, they're just used to slow you down. So I guess you could, there we go, we're starting to move now, and they basically just slow you down when landing, or can be used to reverse out. And then obviously put the throttles forward manually in here, or if you have a joystick or controller, then you just push the throttles forward. Here you have your parking brake, on and off. Your fire systems, if you have an engine failure, and then your frequencies for ILS landings, and your squawk thing, your squawk number, and your automatic directional finder. I did do a video today on how to do an ILS landing, and these were used, and so was the course hold and basically all the autopilot up here. And just quickly, you also have landing gear up and down here, or it's G on the keyboard, and you have FMCs in this aircraft, flight management computer, but they don't really need to be used. You can just press Shift 3 and use the GPS. And most probably a Airbus or Boeing full flight will be coming out at some point. And then obviously I'll do Control Spacebar to get it back to its default setting. So now we'll just go to opening doors and manual movements. So if we want to open the main door, we want to do Shift E. Shift and E. And as you'll see, the aircraft main door will open. and then this will, I don't think you get stairs to this default aircraft, but you can get add-ons which come with them, and then obviously again Shift D to close it. If you want to open the cargo doors, which are located here on the underside of the aircraft, you do Shift E and then immediately press 2. So Shift E 2. And as you can see, the aircraft doors have opened. And once again, Shift D 2 to close them. And you can also do in some aircraft Shift E 3. But in this default plane, it doesn't open the doors. But as you can see here, all these other doors over the wings and at the back of the aircraft on the tail, they do open if you press Shift 3. So once we've done all this, we want to get a pushback to get out of our parking or default location. So to do this, we want to do Shift P. And as you'll see, the pushback cart will come up to the front of the aircraft and begin to push you back. This is the realistic way of getting pushed back at an airport, not using F2 reversers unless you really have to. So and to stop the pushback is Shift E, just Shift P again, as you'll see there. And just on a quick note, you can make the aircraft turn to the left or right, but to be honest, it doesn't really line you up at all, and it just makes your whole taxiway and turning not very neat and professional. You can get add-ons for that, like aircraft fixes and stuff, but I don't really bother with that. I just go back straight and then do the turn myself. So as you can see, I've just quickly demonstrated a couple of things you can do in this default 737. There will be a video in probably the Boeing 747 coming out in the next couple of days, so go and watch that, and also watch my previous video. But in the meantime, like and subscribe to this video. I would really appreciate the support. Give me any comments on how to make my videos and channels better, and I'll see you in the next video, and I hope you get flying soon.